Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the papain enzyme. This is the one of the enzyme which is obtaining from the plant source, right? So it is obtaining from the Carica papaya, one of the fruit, papaya fruit. From there we need to make the incision and whatever the latex it is coming out onto the fruit that we need to collect, and from there only we are going to get the papain enzyme, right? So all of we know that how the papaya fruit it looks like, right? So you can see here into the image, right? This is the very popular fruit in India that can grow throughout all the states of the India, and the bunches of fruit it looks like this. And when you will make the incision in these fruits, you can, if you will crush by nail also, you can feel that some milky liquid it is coming out, some milky juice it is coming out from the fruit, unripe fruit especially, right? Even in from the half ripe also it comes, in ripened fruit it will be less. So in that latex only we are going to get this papain enzyme. So let us discuss what are the pharmacognostical profile for this enzyme. So when we talk about the synonyms, it is also known as papayotene, right? So as papain enzyme you can add this papayotene, and it is also known as vegetable pepsine since it is obtaining from the plant source, right? That's what we can see. We can tell this one vegetable pepsine, so it is also going to play the role as pepsine playing the role. That's what pepsine generally it is obtaining from animal source, right? So here we can say this one vegetable pepsine. Then it is also known as thromycin and arbus, right? So these are the different synonyms which we can call up for the, you can, we can use for this enzyme. Biological source. So when we talk about the biological source, the papain is the dried and purified latex of the green fruits and the leaves also, right? Remember, in leaves also we can get those kinds of latex. Green fruits means unripe fruits, and leaves of Carica papaya lin, that is nothing but papaya fruit belonging to the family Caricaceae, right? So the Carica papaya lin or Carica plant, from there we are going to get the latex. From there we are going to obtain the papain enzyme. The epicarp adheres to the orange colored fleshy sarcocarp which surrounded which surrounds the central cavity. That's what the morphology of the fruit. This cavity contains a mass of nearly black seeds, right? So if you'll cut the fruit, you can see that in the cavity it will be there black seeds, which will be having some mucilaginous content onto the surface of that black seed. It looks like a black pepper only, the seeds of the papaya. So all of we know that. So coming to the geographical source, so if we talk where it can be cultivated, the plant is cultivated in Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Hawaii, and Florida. These are the especially country where it is being cultivated in large scale for commercial purpose. The plant is 5 to 6 meter height, bearing fruits of about 30 centimeter length and a weight up to 5 kg. Right, 5 to 6 meter in height. We can see here the height. It is approximately, sometimes it becomes a big tree, but it will be reachable. You can break it by your hand also. Sometimes we can use the bamboos to break them. Right, so 5 to 6 meter it will be bearing fruits, and about 30 centimeter, and weight up to the 5 kg. It depends. So how we are going to prepare that papain enzyme from the unripe fruits of papaya or leaves from the papaya? It is distributed throughout the plants. Generally the latex you can get even stem also. If you'll crush by your nails or some other knife, you'll get the latex, but we are using only fruit and leaves, but mostly concentrated in the latex of the fruit. So generally fruit only we are using. Here you can see into the image, right, how they are making the incision onto the surface of the fruit, and with this small glass container, this latex they are collecting. And here another pot tub they have attached with the fruit into the plant, so that the whatever the milky juice will come out, they will be collected over here. The latex is obtained by making 2 to 4 longitudinal incisions, right? 2 to 4 only, about 1 by 8 inch deep. The incision, it should be 1 by 8 inch deep, should be there on the surface on four sides of nearly mature but green fruits while still on the tree. Remember, after collecting it from the tree, you are not going to get the proper latex because they are going to dry, right? So that's what, when we are collecting, we need to ensure that the fruit should be onto the tree. And there is a method, four side, all the four side in specific distance. If you are making the incision, you may get the more quantity of latex. The incisions are made nearly in the morning time, right? In morning, if you'll make, you'll get the at the interval of 3 to 7 days onto the same fruit, right? Whenever you are making the incision, after the next incision you need to wait for at least 3 to 7 days, so that again they will be able to biosynthesize the latex, and again you are going to get the latex from the same fruit which you are expecting. The latex flows freely for a few seconds, but soon coagulates. Right, as soon as you are making the incision, it will flow freely, right, with high speed. Then slowly it will get coagulate onto the surface, and it will get dry. The exhaust is collected in non-metallic containers. So remember here, they have specified it should be non-metallic. Metal should not be used, right? Any iron or something like that. The latex is dried as soon as possible after collection. Once you are collected here or in this kind of pot, you need to dry it, right, as soon as possible. So rapid drying or exposure to sun or higher temperature above 30 degrees centigrade produce dark color product with weak in proteolytic activity, right? So that's what, if you are exposing direct to the sunlight, or if high temperature above 30 degrees centigrade, what will happen, the particular enzyme or latex, it will become dark color, which will be having weak proteolytic activity. Actually, that's what we are collecting this enzyme. So the use of artificial heat yields a better grade of crude papain, right? If you are using artificial, applying artificial heat by the tray dryer or hot air oven or something else, right, uh, it will be yielded the better grade. So that, why? Because you can control the temperature, right? So that's what better grade of crude papain we can get. The final product should be creamy white and friable, right? So that's the characteristic supposed to have when you are getting the final product after the process. It should be creamy white and it should be friable. It is sealed in airtight containers to prevent loss of activity. Since we have discussed in enzyme, they are very much particular to the temperature and the pH, right? So that's what we need to, it's keep them into the airtight container so that their activity should not lose. If 10% of common salt or 1% solution of formaldehyde is added before drying, the product retains its activity for many months. So this also you can adopt, right? So 10% of common salt, whatever the salt we are using, that also 10% if you prepare, and the formaldehyde 1% if you want. If you add along with this, the activity it is not going to lose, and it can be retained for the long time. Fully grown fruits give more latex in of high enzyme potency than smaller and immature fruit. That's what we need to wait for. The fruit should be grown fully. At the same time, it should not ripe, right? So then, if you are choosing that kind of fruit, you are going to get the maximum concentration of the latex with the high enzyme potency or enzyme activity. It is going to be more than the immature or small fruit. Small fruit or immature fruit also you will get the latex, but ultimately why we are collecting the latex? To get the enzyme or its activity. That's what we need to select the fully grown fruits. The yield of papain varies from 20 to 250 gram per tree, right? So papain, we are talking here about the latex or papain enzyme. It is it vary depend on to the plant and number of fruits, size of the fruits, and area of the plant, right? from 20 to 250 gram per tea we are expecting it in between this range. The yield of commercial papain from latex is about 20%, right? So this is the market value. When we are talking about the characteristic of the processed papain which we are getting after the processing, how it is going to have the features. The papain occurs as white or grayish white, right? Slightly hygroscopic powder, right? It should be how the color white or grayish white, right? When you are the processing, purification, everything will be done, so you are going to get the hygroscopic powder. It will be in the powder form, right? It is incompletely soluble in water, right? Partial soluble it means, and the glycerol. It may digest about 35 times of its weight of lean meat, right? So this is the another property we could see here in the case of papain. It may digest about 35 times of its weight. Suppose if it is 1 gram, so 35 gram of the lean weight it can digest, right? Best grade of renders digestions of 200 to 300 times their weight of coagulated egg albumin in alkaline media, right? So the best grade of this render digestion, it is 200 to 300 time of their weight, right? Of the weight of coagulated egg albumin. Egg albumin, albumin protein, it will be there in egg albumin. So in alkaline media, how they are going to swell or it is going to takes place the digestion. The temperature range of 60 to 90 degrees centigrade is favorable for the digestive process, with 65 degrees centigrade of optimum, the optimum point, right? So this is the temperature range where we are going to get its a digestive property in the good range or in the favorable conditions. Best pH for this enzyme, it is 5.0, but it functions also in neutral and alkaline media. It the function you can see, the digestive activity you can see in neutral and alkaline media also, but the best pH which we are supposed to maintain, that is the 5. It is activated by reduction of hydrogen cyanide and hydrogen disulfide, and inactivated by oxidation by H2O2 iodoacetate, right? So this is the another. It is activated by the reduction by or inactivated by oxidation, so this also can be done. This is the property of the, when we talk about the chemical constituents present in this latex or in the enzyme. The papain contains several enzymes such as proteolytic enzymes peptidase 1, which is capable of converting proteins into dipeptides and polypeptides, right? Then renin like enzyme also will be there in that latex. Clotting enzymes similar to the pectase, and an enzyme having feeble activity on fats, right? So these kinds of things which will be there into the enzyme composition. The enzymes papain, papaya proteinase, and chemopapain have been isolated in crystalline from the latex. Whatever the latex we are getting from unripe fruit of the carica papaya, this papain proteo, the papaya proteinase and chemopapain can be isolated. Papain is a typical protein digesting enzyme with isoelectric point. It contains 15.5% nitrogen and 1.2% of sulfur. Crystalline papain is most stable in the pH range 7.5 to 7 and is rapidly destroyed at 30 degrees centigrade, below pH 2.5 and above pH 12, right? So this is the pH range where the crystalline papain, it is more stable, right? So that we need to maintain. And another property for this papain is a protein of 212 amino acids and having a molecular weight of about 23,000 daltons, right? How much this, you can see that it's a high molecular. That's what we could see into the protein containing drugs. They are having high molecular weight or long acid, long chain of amino acids. So here 212 amino acids it will be there in this enzyme, and 23,000 daltons, that is the unit, that much molecular weight. It is resistant to heat, inactivated by metal ions, oxidants and reagents. It is inactivated by metal ion oxidants and reagents, which react with thiols and is an endopeptidase activated by thiols and reducing moieties. For example, cysteine, thiosulfate, and glutathione. These are the having that activated by the thiols. The leaves possesses dihydrocarpanes 1 and 2, fatty acids, carpane, pseudocarpane, and carotenoids. In the leaf latex, whatever the latex we are getting from the leaves of papaya plant, these are the things we are going to get in the composition. The fruits yield lauric, myristolic, palmitolic, and arachidic acids. Malonated benzyl P-O- glucosides, 2-phenyl ethyl glucoside, and 4-hydroxyphenyl 2-ethyl glucosides. So these are the things we are going to get into the fruit. That is the composition, chemical composition, which will be there into the latex. Test how we are going to identify if you get such kind of latex. So this test you can adopt. Papain is reacted with a gelatin solution at 80 degrees centigrade in presence of activating cysteine chloral hydrate solution for an hour, right? So that we can do. It is reacted with the gelatin solution at temperature 80 degree, right? That in the presence of activating cysteine chloral hydrate solution for at least 1 hour. So the solution is cooled then at 4 degrees centigrade for long time, because you have heated for the hour. So the treated solution must not regel. Actually, it is supposed to gel, but it must not regel in comparisons to the blank solution under identical conditions. So that will be indication of the presence of papain enzyme in the given sample of latex. When we talk about the uses of this enzyme, papain is used to prevent adhesions in the infected wounds, internally as protein digestant. It is used as a protein digestant. That's what. And uh, and uh, uh, enthelmatic or nematode enthelmatic activity, it's earthworms or different tabworm. It is able to kill, to relieve the symptoms of episiotomy, or that is the incision of vulva, right? In the meat industry, it is tendering the beef, and for treatment of diphtheria, intestinal and gastric disorders, diphtheria, for dissolving diphtheria membrane, in surgery to reduce the incidence of blood clots. Also it can be used because so many blood clot it happened during the surgery, big surgeries, where the thromboplasma is undesirable, and for local treatment of buccal and of pharyngeal and laryngeal disorders if happen, there also it can be used for the treatment. It is used in digestive mixtures, liver tonics, for reducing enlarged tonsils, in prevention of postoperative adhesions. Then the carbuncles and Escher burns or any types of burns and wound also it can be useful. That's what papaya fruit we should eat. First of all, we could see here the lot of health benefits it is having, right? Apart from this, it is also used. It is the allergic agent causing severe paroxysmal cough, vasomotor rhinitis, and dyspnea. It is a powerful poison when injected intravenously. Remember, right? It is if it is injected intravenously or IV route, it is powerful poison. In industry, it is used in manufacture of proteolytic preparation of meat, liver, and casein, with dilute alcohol and lactic acids as meat tenderizer, as a substitute for rennet in cheese manufacture, in brewing industry for making chill proof beer, for deguming natural milk in preparation of toothpaste and cosmetics, in tanning industry for the bathing skin and hides, and also an as an ingredient in cleansing solution for the soft contact lens for the eyes. So it is having lots of industrial benefits, health benefits, and so many useful into the digestion. Apart from that, for the different wounds and burn and many things, right? In cosmetics also, in industry also. So this is the enzyme which we are getting from the plant source. So that's what these enzymes become important for the study.